Oh man, so we are live, good folks. We are live. A quick live as we go through some updates, all right? So let me go ahead and make sure I share it, make sure everything good on the back end. How y'all day going so far? We got some crazy news that we got to get to. Man. So a partial verdict has been reached in the Diddy trial. A partial verdict has been reached, and I've been watching closely as things have been coming out, tweet by tweet from Inner City Press. Right now, they breaking for the day. They'll be back tomorrow. Excuse me. They'll be back tomorrow, but as of now, they've reached the verdict. Hold on, you're gonna hit me twice for a second. Hold on. The verdict has been. There we go. But they'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully, they're hoping that they don't go past July 3rd when it comes to getting a verdict on this case. But once again, a partial verdict has been reached in regards to this Diddy trial. Let me go over the details. I'm just making sure we get on the back end. One more time. Boom, boom, boom. All right, there we go. All right. So, make sure y'all hit the like button as you join in. Alicia, what's good? Brian, what's good, homie? Y'all talk in the chat because we do talk back. This is a family discussion, all right? So, right now, Diddy is looking sick. People that's in the courtroom that's reporting, he's in there, hands in his head. It's not looking too good based on how they are perceiving the situation, especially what's going on, the details, because you have to read into, you got to speculate to get an idea of what you may think that may be going on. We can go over some legal analysis and also some people that's speaking that actually was in the courtroom that sat there throughout the process. We're going to see what they're saying on the situation. All right. But this what has me reacting over here when I seen this. All right. So this tweet came out with Inner City Press, who's been live tweeting the entire thing. So he says, we have received a note at 4 or 5 p.m. today. It reads, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors on each side. All right. So they were trying to figure that situation out. Let me give y'all more details on that, and then I'll give y'all my opinion on that. Okay. So they had a back and forth with them figuring out what should they tell the jurors to do at this point in time. So the AUSA called me, that's the prosecution, was saying we are preparing a modified Allen charge. They were thinking about that, which is basically the judge just saying, hey, you got to come to a decision some type of way. Another jury isn't going to be able to figure out this any better than y'all. So you got to come to some type of decision in regards to that. And they're trying to give them until the 3rd. And both sides is pretty much cool with them, the judge telling them you got to come to a decision at some point in time. So that was the back and forth. Now, what are the counts? Let's get to the details for these counts. Let me get my paperwork up. All right. This person got this breakdown right here. Count 1. This is the one that they're confused about what they're going to do with the decision for count 1. That's the racketeering conspiracy count. So it says allegations involve victim 2 and victim 3 related to commercial sex acts and as part of a pattern of a criminal activity. And also that's the criminal enterprise and all these things of that sort. The counts, this is 2 counts of sex trafficking. The other counts mostly are the sex trafficking or transportation to engage in prostitution. These, they have reached the verdicts on these ones right here. So the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, that includes victim 1, identified as Cassie Ventura. 1 charge alleges forced labor involving Combs business employees. Includes 4 victims who was allegedly coerced into sexual activity through physical force, psychological harm, financial threats, reputational threats. Also specifies a kidnapping incident involving the use of a firearm. Number 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. These are 2 counts as well. That's counts 3 and 5. So 1 count involves victim 2 between 2021 to 2024, and the second count involves victim 2 during the same period. Both charges reference victim 1 and 3 in connection with the racketeering and prostitution allegations. So those other counts, they for sure have a verdict on that. This is my logic as I'm thinking this whole situation through. Let me go through my tweet. I'm like, oh shit, Diddy may be cooked, because I'm thinking if they're split on count 1, which is the verdict for the RICO. If they're split on the RICO, that means some people are stuck on their idea that they believe he did some crimes. Some people, they're not budging that he did do some crimes. Other people, they're like, I don't know if we can give him the RICO though. So they aren't sure about the record. They couldn't be. I'm thinking they probably for found him guilty on the other things, but a racketeering one, they don't know about that one. That's my logic when it comes to that. If they are for sure, some people for sure, they don't want to budge, and other people's, they don't want to budge either way. So someone's on the side that he's guilty. That's it. So that don't mean, so in my mind, I'm thinking, if someone thinks that he's guilty for sure for the racketeering, that means they must think he's guilty of other crimes as well. So that gives me the logic in thinking that he may be cooked. He may be cooked as far as at least the sex trafficking or the transportation of prostitutes. That one right there has been a slam dunk for the longest. The transportation of prostitutions. I say prostitutes, my bad, but the transportation of prostitutes, that right there, he's been having some trouble with. I already knew that was going to be a problem for him. But, all right, so Nick at Night, she is in the courtroom and she breaks down how Diddy was looking. Said that boy was looking sick.
So this is a quick update right outside of the courthouse. Now, it is intense in there. Now, nobody was expecting for a jury to come back this quick. Now, the verdict, they have reached a verdict on all counts except for count 1. Okay, except for count 1. Now, Diddy is looking defeated inside. He has his lawyers surrounded around him. He's sitting in a chair with his head sunk down. At one point, he looked like he may have been crying. They were around him in a circle. They were like trying to console him, putting their arm on him and all surrounding around him. It was intense. Now, a lot of times when they come back and they have a note, all the attorneys come in, but this time it was different. This time he looked somber and we were all looking like, wait a minute, if it's just a note, why are they huddled around him like that? And then he just started to sink and sink and sink and sink in his chair. And they were pacing back and forth. You saw his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you can look and see the worry on their faces. Now, again, if you guys are just coming in, they came back with a verdict on all of the charges except count 1. Okay, so count 1, the jury is saying that they are deadlocked on either side. They cannot come with a unanimous decision. Now, neither party wants them to be gridlocked. So they are discussing whether or not they are going to propose a Allen charge to basically tell them to continue to deliberate. The prosecution does not want them to stop right now. The defense does not want them to stop right now. They want them to keep going, or they might consider doing a partial verdict. But they have reached a verdict in just a day and some hours on all of the counts except for count 1. Okay, so all
right, so we're gonna stop right there. I just want to have someone who's in the courtroom to give you an idea of the mood for Diddy's team. It ain't looking good based on how they're feeling. And if you think logically about what's going on, once again, if they came to the verdict that fast, and also if some people are unsure or they can't come to a decision because some people are deadlocked as far as their thoughts on count 1, that means some people believe he did the crime. Some people believe he's guilty of RICO. There's some members of the jury that believes he's guilty of RICO. And if they believe he's guilty of RICO, then they believe he did some crimes. They believe he's guilty of other things because RICO's usually a bunch of things they're guilty of. So logically, you would think the other things, the other counts, they believe he's guilty of those things too. So that's why I believe the other things, he's at least found guilty on something else as well. So I think that's why, logically speaking, his lawyers, they're trying to brace him for impact because it's not looking too good. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. That's why we're going to tap into some other criminal defense attorneys and see what they got to say. In the meantime, I see y'all joining the chat. Who went here? Retro Kid was good, homie. D Breakdown was good. Marcus, we had a good time on stream last night. We was big vibing. Ski Mask, Gotti in here. Love More in here. Who else? AJ was good. King Lee was good, homie. But yeah, it's looking bad. Darren Jennings was good, homie. What's good? What's good? What's good? So these are some actual attorneys. Let's look at their legal analysis of what's going on.
Republican New York Congressman John Katko, also ABC News political contributor and former Democratic North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp, Republican strategist Mahake Cook, and journalist and attorney Aaron Parnas. And John, I want to start with you, given your background, specifically as a former prosecutor. What do you make of the jury unable to reach a full verdict today, specifically on that racketeering and conspiracy count?
Well, yeah, you can never really fully understand a jury's logic, but I can tell you this, what's highly likely is going on here. It's highly likely that they found him guilty on one or more of those counts 2 through 5. And the reason I say that is if he was not guilty on all those counts 2 through 5, he would absolutely have been found not guilty on count 1, most likely.
That's my logic.
I should say absolutely, most likely. So it seems like what happens a lot with racketeering cases, and I've tried many of them, the farther you get away from like a mafia type enterprise or a gang or a criminal organization, the harder it is to explain to someone that this is a RICO case. Mm-hmm. So I think right now that jury's probably struggling with the RICO moniker for him, but they probably have reached a verdict on the other counts. That's just my guess. And the ironic thing is, yes, it's a maximum of life in prison on a RICO charge, but under the sentencing guidelines, it would be nowhere near that. And if he's convicted on those sex trafficking charges, they're 15-year mandatory minimum sentences each.
Damn.
So that's where the real meat is. And if he's convicted of one of those, obviously he's in big trouble.
Yeah. Well, and Aaron, hop in here.
I've heard that the transportation of prostitutes across state lines, I think that's 10 years for each charge. But damn, the sex trafficking ones, it's a lot of gray area for the sex trafficking ones because it's the forced fraud and coercion. It's some gray areas for that one. So that's...
As an attorney, what do you make of this partial verdict?
Yeah, I agree with John on really everything he just said.
What is he? Is he a prosecutor or he's more of a defense lawyer?
This partial here,
one of those
attorney. Yeah. Well, and Aaron, hop in here as an attorney. What do you make of this partial verdict?
Yeah, I agree with John on really everything he just said. I think this is a very difficult day for Sean Combs right now. I think there's a reason he was wiping away his tears in the courtroom, and it's because I think he also understands that there's likely at least one guilty verdict in counts 2 through 5. Now, ultimately, I think RICO is a very difficult charge to prove. It was always going to be the hardest charge to prove here. And I think a lot of even analysts really said that prosecutors were kind of shooting for the moon with the RICO charges. And so I think I wouldn't be surprised if there is actually disagreement over what these predicate charges or the predicate acts, whether or not there's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt regarding some of the predicate acts, for example, kidnapping, arson, things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some disagreement over whether or not two of those occurred within the period of 10 years. So I think that's really where the jury is stuck up on. But I really wouldn't be surprised if we see at least a partial verdict tomorrow entered with Sean Combs going away for a very long time, a mandatory minimum of 10 or 15 years in federal prison.
So let's read through this real quick. So count 1 was racketeering conspiracy, maximum sentence of life in prison. That's the one they're hung up on so far. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. Maximum sentence of life in prison, but mandatory minimum of 15 years in prison for each count. So count 3 is transportation to engage in prostitution. Maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. So the max is 10 years. He can get less than this. I don't know what the minimum is, though. But the max is 10 years for that. So once again, sex trafficking, we just said that. These are the same things as 2 and 3. Goddamn.
Wow. Well, and Mahake, I'm curious because, we're just day 2 of deliberations here and also already like this partial verdict on counts 2 through 5.
Parnas is a content creator and a commentator. But he say he's an attorney. Is he one of those lawyers that, it's a lot of them, lawyers that make content?
Did that surprise you? Did you think it was going to go longer or is this about the pace of deliberations you expected?
Well, look, I think in my legal experience, as I sat back and I analyzed this case and I looked at it day by day, the prosecution, in my opinion, really didn't do a good job. They threw the book at Diddy. And while I agree that these crimes are heinous, they didn't do a good job prosecuting the case in terms of racketeering. As the other two panelists have already said, it is one of the hardest elements to prove when you're looking at predicate crimes. That means that Diddy and his inner circle committed at least 2 crimes together within a 10-year window: arson, forced labor, sex trafficking, kidnapping, bribery, witness tampering. Two of those charges should have been brought up. And the fact that the prosecution didn't even bring up the chief of staff to come and testify against Diddy, I think she was integral in this RICO charge, really shows you that this is falling apart. I do think the fact that we have at least a partial verdict, I'm seeing guilt in there, but it's not as expansive as a RICO charge. So I wasn't really surprised. I think the jurors are really going to struggle with this.
So she thinks they didn't do a good job for the RICO, which many people believe looking into this, because that felt like a reach. It felt like a reach when it came to the RICO stuff. I mean, this whole shit is based off technicalities. It's based off technicalities. We came into this thinking there was going to be some wild shit that we was going to be hearing. There's freak offs there are wild as hell. Like, we can't deny that. That shit's wild as hell. But people thought there was going to be a lot of, like, unknown women being forced into sex trafficking against their own will and drugged up. But the women are known as 50 Cent baby mama Daphne Joy, allegedly. I know I got to say that technically. And also Cassie Ventura. Those are the women. And also when it comes to the prostitutions, they're fucking men. It's wild as hell, but it's men. And all these people were willing participants. So you have to wrap your mind around that aspect of it. I know a lot of people, content creators, got blue balls when it came to this whole case because they got excited because everything that Tyrone Blackburn dude was filing for the Lil Rod lawsuit. They thought it was going to be some shit like that. It was going to be a bunch of celebrity names being dropped, blackmail with all these people being blackmailed when it came to the freak off footage and things of that sort. But it was none of that. It was none of that. It was a pretty much freaky relationship between these folks. A lot of drugs going on. They paying for prostitutes and things of that sort. So people had to scale back their expectations and now deal with what you're actually seeing. And I think a lot of people understand the nuance of the situation. So when it comes to the racketeering charge, they just don't see that. They see someone using their power and their money to get what they want, but they don't understand. They don't want to go as far as to say this is a criminal organization. These are just rich niggas doing illegal shit, but it's not a criminal organization. If you get what I mean, if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, and Heidi, to Mahake's point, there are some that have pondered aloud about this racketeering charge, specifically that, they may have thought that, Diddy may have been overcharged with that as they were hearing testimony over the past 6 weeks. But I'm curious, in your estimation, in hearing some of the witness testimony that's played out as the prosecution is called now dozens of witnesses, did they get at their core case that he's guilty of that racketeering charge?
Well, obviously, they haven't convinced all 12 jurors that beyond a reasonable doubt that he is. There's a great deal of challenge, and I think there is going to be a lot of armchair quarterbacking on the charge. Was it overcharged? If you weren't coming, as you've heard before, if you weren't coming with all the evidence, then why engage in the charge? But let's not forget that this is not a good day for Diddy. This is a horrible thing to be accused of. It's even worse when the facts have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a jury that obviously is doing a lot of detailed work and analyzing. If you look at the fact that they were able to come to some kind of verdict on the other 4 counts and are struggling with this one, it tells you that it's a jury that's doing its job. I think that now what we're going to turn to is, was there reversible error? Was there something that Diddy on appeal can basically argue? And I think given that unless we get to a RICO charge, given that the rest of the charges were pretty straightforward and a jury came to these verdicts within a couple days, I think that tells you that the evidence is there.
Well, I can tell you all that on a day like today, I'm thankful for a panel full of lawyers. John, Heidi, Mahake, and Aaron, thank you all. And stick with us.
All right. So that's what they saying, breaking the whole situation down. What y'all saying in the chat, man? What y'all thoughts? All right. What we saying? Homie brought up Carl Winslow as far as one of the dudes that's being mentioned. I don't know if he was mentioned as far as in any of the lawsuits. Was he actually mentioned in the lawsuit? That's crazy. It's definitely not the case that I thought it would be. Very odd. Cassie isn't innocent. I don't care what y'all say. Hella blue balls, big balls. Homie says, I don't know, even if he didn't settle that lawsuit with the W he took with suing that alcohol company, it still probably would have came out like it did. I agree with that statement. I'm not getting criminal organization. That's a stretch. I agree, man. The Diageo conspiracy isn't sticking to me. What have they done except settle with Diddy? Yeah, that I haven't been full out in regards to the Diageo shit. 50 Cent is playing as far as he leans into the Diageo conspiracy as well. Me, I think it can be something there, but I don't know. I think the best that they could have did was give him as much good representation because they may have been in bed with him. Anybody who was in bed with them, they probably try to represent him or try to give him the best lawyers possible to fight this shit. But I think really what really happened is once Cassie came out of nowhere, because I think the time frame of Cassie being able to file a lawsuit, it was trickling down. She had to shoot the last minute shot to go ahead and be able to file the lawsuit against Puffy. And that's the reason why people saw the opportunity to make a lot of money off of him. And then there was a big storm in regards to lawsuits. And I think just naturally with the South District of New York, those prosecutors, their ears perked up. And then they sent the flood in regards to the investigation. So I think the Cassie lawsuit set things off for him. Now, could people have tried to if he had the help from Diageo, they may have tried to help suppress that, or would have advised him to suppress that, pay Cassie off, so it doesn't perk these guys' ears as far as the prosecution that did try this case. That may have been a thing, but I don't know if Diageo said, fuck it, Cassie, go get him. I don't know. No, that is something to explore as far as that conspiracy, but I just don't know. What are they saying? If Rick James can do his time, Diddy can too. I just wonder why no one else's name is coming up. Cassie not innocent. I just wonder how that Cassie video came back out after it was supposedly destroyed, though. There's no way Diddy walks. Hey, that's a good question, though. Because I thought it was destroyed, but yeah, how did they get that video? How did they get that video? But you did know that dude, they did. I don't know if it's the reason why, but the guy who Diddy paid money to go ahead and get rid of it, he did take a copy home to his wife. So there have some copies of the video regardless. Maybe Diddy had a copy of this shit himself too. So some people had copies of that video, man. But what else we got going on, man? 50 Cent saying a little slick shit. He says, I was just wondering if there is a number or hotline you can call if your old hoes show up 20 years later still mad. I'm just asking for a friend. So 50 out here being petty as hell per usual. He said this right here 5 minutes ago. Diddy just told me to tell y'all don't worry about him. He gonna hold it down, real nigga shit. Real shit. So, hey man, y'all gotta be careful with these content creators. Not content creators, these rappers out here laughing at other niggas' pains. Gotta be careful, man, because these shits could, like this law is so loose, it feel like it could just be thrown on anybody, bro. If you are out here living foul, living too free. Now, I did see this breakdown of the jury. I mean, when I was looking at the breakdown of the jury, I'm like, damn, it's a lot of older people. It's a lot of older people. So I'm thinking just off the rip, they're just disgusted by a lot of things that they hearing unless they freaking them damn selves. Like, okay, jury number 2 is a 69-year-old man who works as a massage therapist in Manhattan. He has a Bachelor of Fine Arts and Acting from New York University. Oh, he do massages and shit. He probably wanted to go to a freak off him damn self. All right, so juror number 5 is 31-year-old man who works as an investment analyst. I'm tripping over my damn words. An investment analyst. His hobbies include golf, tennis, and video games. He described himself as an active churchgoer. Oh, okay. Juror 25. This is the person right here that was causing issues the other day. So juror 25 is a 51-year-old man who works as a scientist and lives in Manhattan with his domestic partner. Sounds like he's gay. Okay. You know, so he probably didn't find nothing wrong with the freak offs and shit. So, all right, that's him. This is the guy that didn't follow. He wasn't following the judge's instructions. That's who juror 25 is. Juror 28 is a 30-year-old woman who lives in the Bronx with her mother and brother. She works as a deli clerk at a grocery store. Pretty average lady. Juror 55 is a 42-year-old woman who lives in Manhattan with her fiance. She works at a nursing home and says she is not a fan of news. Okay. Juror 75 is a 68-year-old man who was retired and previously worked in finance. He lives in Westchester County with his wife and said he listens to old Indian music and likes to play cricket and volleyball. All right. Now, juror 116 is a 68-year-old man who lives in Westchester County with his wife and kids. He's a retired lineman. Oh, he played football? Or that may be lineman. I mean, like, you know, the hard hat work. All right. I'm talking about he played football. I look crazy. All right, juror 160 is a 43-year-old woman who is a physician's assistant and works with elderly patients. She lives in Westchester County with her husband and kids. It's a lot of older people. 43-year-old, they ain't too old. That's just like, you know, right in the middle of life, you know. But it's a lot of like older people. I'm thinking like, how do they think about all this shit that they're hearing? Juror 184 is a 39-year-old man who lives in the Bronx with his brother. He's a social work program supervisor and part-time security guard who has a master's degree in social work. Juror 201 is a 67-year-old man who has 2 adult children and works as a logistics analyst. He lives alone in Westchester. Juror 217 is a 74-year-old woman who works as a treatment coordinator and has a bachelor's degree in sociology. She lives alone in Manhattan and she does not have children. Juror 230 is a 57-year-old man who works as a manufacturing architect and has a master's degree in mechanical engineering, and he lives with his wife and kids in Westchester County. This juror started as an alternate and replaced juror. I think this is one that replaced the black man that left, and people was upset about that shit. There's a lot of hoopla around the black man replacing Buddy. But yeah, that's all the jurors, man. There's a lot of older folks in there. I know, unless they freaking themselves, that freaky shit may have had them looking crazy. They said when they did see the freak off footage, they was like, oh shit, this is crazy. They was looking weird. What y'all saying? What happened with the Candace Owens video last night? They struck my shit, dog. They gave me a copyright and messed up the YouTube live. So I had to take that shit down because I didn't want to get a super serious copyright strike. But yeah, Jubilee, they be moving different when it comes to these copyright shits. But they actually paused the live stream. Just like it looked like a lot of old people. Diddy was cooked from the start. Basically, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of old people in this shit. You know, the younger generation, they're much more fluid with their sexuality, all that extra shit, all that extra weird shit. So I think with a younger crowd, they may have been much more accepting. Y'all know the old folks, they don't play all that extra stuff. They probably confused with a lot of the things that he was doing. Cassie throughout the whole process was to be a willing participant. So I thought she was there to be crazy evidence. I thought it was going to be crazy evidence that she was forced, but it doesn't seem that way. We all got a Rico in us. That's why Jesus was on the cross. What you mean? So you went to NYU and became a massage therapist? That nigga lying, huh? 50 need to pump his brakes. What goes around comes around. And what's your and that's your baby mama, allegedly. What else y'all talking about in here? Cassie's not innocent. Woody whoop. And that's that right there. Let me see if there's any more things. Let me do a little refresh to see if there's any more things going on outside of that courtroom as the reports are coming in, trying to get some more perspectives if there is something to dive into. But no, I ain't saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. Wait, what the fuck are they talking to this lady? Wait, what? Okay, they talked to Daphne. No, this is Gina, huh? Gina, huh? Is that how you say her name? I don't know. But they asked her some questions about how she would feel if Diddy walks away free.
Hi, Gina. How you doing? Hi. I have a quick question for you. Do you think Diddy's gonna win this trial?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. I've been hearing a lot of stories. Everybody been hearing like maybe you were kidnapped or like something like crazy. Like we're just hearing a lot of stuff. Is there anything you can clear up or anything like that?
No, I'm safe. I'm not kidnapped.
Real quick, before you go, that's what I want to know. If Diddy does win this trial, do you think your life will be threatened in any kind of way?
No.
You don't think so? You think everything will be safe? Because the girl Aubrey O'Day she said that if Diddy wins, she's gonna leave the country.
I mean, he never did anything dangerous to me. I'm not scared.
You're not scared? Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Okay.
If he is
It's the Audrey chick. Well, she said what? Aubrey chick.
found guilty on at least something, how does that make you feel?
I'd feel best if he was found guilty on everything.
And if he walks free?
I don't have that in the range of my possibility thoughts right now. I don't believe that that would happen. If it does, though, I'm gonna buy a ticket to Bali like I did the last time I couldn't do this country anymore.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you fear at all for your safety or what life looks like if he is back out in the world?
I fear for the messaging that we're going to be giving any newcomers in the industry. And by the way, entertainment is the one that's glamorized and that stands out the most, let's say. Yeah. She's the it girl. Politics is a little bit over to standing right on our neck. But we're...
If he is...
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like she clout chasing. Because if she had all this information that she was claiming she had, then she would have been up there testifying. I don't think they even came to her. I think she just using this situation for relevancy. Don Richard, Zoe lady, she was up on that stand. But this girl right here saying she don't have any, she's not, it's crazy. She said he never did anything dangerous to her, but she did run and tell stories about him abusing her. So that's interesting, but she don't want to be involved in the case. She don't want to testify on her own behalf. She don't want to be tied into it. But it seems like Diddy had his freak off girls, and he had his girls that he want to be outside with, do different things with. I don't know. I wonder if he had more freak off girls, but you probably wouldn't want to do too many freak offs, too many women, because you want to make sure you keep it silent. But he been doing freak offs since early 2000s up until 2024. God damn. What y'all saying over here, man? Gloria Velez, Uncle Luke definitely helped me get some black backweed. How did he locked up, but not Uncle Luke? Hey, now chill on out, bro. We got chill on out. Don't get the Miami legend tied up in that shit. I don't know. What y'all saying? How did they find her? I don't know. They said that's convenient as hell. But y'all think they set up this interview? Diddy probably told them to set this shit up, huh? Diddy probably told them to set this shit up. These niggas be moving smooth behind the scenes, man. They be moving smooth behind the scenes. Yo, did y'all see we have this situation with JayZ? I don't like this shit. But in the situation with JayZ, y'all remember that when it came to them trying to try him with that 13-year-old girl, then JayZ had his situation dropped. He was dropped from that lawsuit with him saying that he did something to a 13-year-old girl. He then sued the lawyer and the girl. But now the judge dismisses the defamation lawsuit against the attorney who wrongfully tied him to a 13-year-old's sexual assault case. I don't like this shit. Why the fuck y'all drop that? Don't drop that. We need to let these niggas know. No, you can't just be out here doing this shit. But let me read this real quick. It says, a California judge has officially tossed out the lawsuit JayZ filed against Texas attorney Tony Busby, the same lawyer who made headlines by tying Hove's name to a disturbing lawsuit involving an Alabama woman who claimed she was sexually assaulted at age 13. JayZ filed a suit after Busby mentioned him in legal documents tied to the woman's claims. But shortly after Jay's legal team presented evidence proving he had nothing to do with the situation, the accuser quickly dropped all accusations against him. However, her case against Diddy is still ongoing. Even though his name was cleared, JayZ wasn't letting it slide. He took legal action against Busby and his co-counsel, David Fortney, accusing them of being reckless and money hungry, saying they threw his name into the mix without proving, just to stir up headlines. But the judge didn't fully buy it. According to Rolling Stone, Judge Mark Epstein issued a 65-page ruling dismissing JayZ's claims of extortion and defamation. You know what? My mind makes me think, like, even though the judges, they be knowing this shit is bullshit, it still be a lot of court fees that's generated when these things happen. And I think, like, they need this. Just that's how they make their money. That's how they get paid from all these court proceedings and things that are going on. Even if the shit is bullshit. They want that traffic of cases to be coming in because it keeps the whole industry fed. It keeps everybody fed, you know? Everybody getting their bread. That's why I think when it comes to that shit, they like, nah, fuck that. Because we don't want to scare these lawyers for coming up and giving us some work to do, you know, and helping us get some money. But I don't like that shit though. I don't like that. They dropped it. Busby gonna come back for revenue. Yes, he is trying to. I did see reports saying that he's looking heavy into getting some attorney fees from JayZ. It's not gonna stop there. It's gonna be a lot of pettiness going back and forth. So he's trying to get attorney fees from JayZ. I don't know where I seen that at. But yeah, that's what's going on with that situation, bro. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, man. I don't like that at all. What y'all saying in the chat? Judge Epstein, maybe, maybe. What it is? What y'all saying? She'll fly to Bali with her Uncle Russ. Why they always go to Bali? Lack of extradition infrastructure in paradise. Her plans is to be with Diddy when he get out. Yeah, you know, a lot of these girls, they think that way. Busby is coming like Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad. Yeah, better call Saul for sure, man. But yeah, I think it's a lot of interesting shit going on. Hey, did y'all see? Speaking of court, did y'all see Remy Ma's situation? She was out here going crazy. So Remy Ma, is this everything right here? Remy Ma she was at a court date and a court appearance for her child, her son that is facing a murder charge, I believe. I think I got a better image of his altercation. Let me see if I can find it over here. But I woke up, you know, we had a late stream last night, so I was kind of sleepy this morning. I was sleeping like crazy. I woke up and saying this shit. I'm like, what the fuck going on with Remy Ma?
Like your mother's ugly? Like your mother's ugly? Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Oh, okay.
Just watch.
Yeah, okay. We could test her right now. Right now, ugly. Everything. Oh, you thought you was gonna see something.
So she's arguing with the daughter of the man that her son allegedly killed. Okay.
Ugly bitch. You wasn't. But you wasn't.
No makeup.
But you wasn't. Same here. You see what's up? Same here. You see what's up? Oh, okay.
So yeah, this raggedy ass fucking bitch Remy, like, girl, like you would have thought I did something to you. Realistically, I can never speak to my father again. I can never hug him. I can never kiss him. I can never say nothing else to him. You can see your son. You can speak to him. You can hug on him. You can say whatever. The fact of the matter is that I see this fucking lady, and she's looking at me with a whole attitude. When I tell y'all ice grilling as if her son was the victim. Like, miss, where's your remorse? Like, where's your sorriness? Where's your sadness? Like, at the end of the day, I don't care what I go through with nobody. I would never want to see nobody die. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like, bitch, nobody did nothing to you, you fucking gremlin. And you really acting like you mad about something. Ice grilling somebody. Ugly ass. Then you acting tough in front of a courthouse. Like, bitch, we're gonna go to jail. You've been to jail before. I'm sure you don't want to go back, bitch. Like, what are we doing here? Come around the corner. You're really not fucking tough. Like, bitch is mad pussy. Like...
Hell nah. Now, Remy was eventually detained. She was detained. Let me show you. Yeah. They roped her up some type of way. But I believe they eventually let her go, obviously, all right? So it says, hiding behind your lawyer-ass bitch. The nerve of this gremlin to be acting like somebody did something to her when that drug addict son is the one you should be mad at. You ugly ass bitch. You been to jail, right? So why you acting like fighting in front of the courtroom? It's cool, LMAO. You're a clown-ass chick. You thought this was a bum chick you was gonna come across. Nah. They don't call me Big Jazz for no reason. Really that girl and you're mad. So the girl is you know, she want to be upset with someone, obviously. Petty back and forth. These type of things happen, though, you know. Remy, in this situation, like the girl did say, you are in a more privileged position because you can see your son while my dad is going. So it's going to be a natural clashing regardless. And they got to do better of trying to police these situations or try to keep these people from crossing each other paths, because I can understand why both people gonna have smoke, especially for coming from the girl perspective. Remy ain't do shit to you. It was her son, but she gonna try to just lash out regardless. Does that make it right? No, but it's just the natural way how things go when people are in a situation. So yeah, it's one of the things that's bound to happen. She lived a lifestyle, so try to live a lifestyle, be out here all loose and, you know, talking shit like that. But yeah, man. That's some shit that's expected to see. What else did I see? I seen something. Oh shit. Did y'all see this PR shit? It's something else I woke up and seen this morning. Well, this afternoon. This PR play right here. This is so obvious. This is so obvious, man. This is funny as hell. Hold on, let me get it together over here, dog, because this is funny as fuck. So, the most convenient day. So y'all know today was the day. We've been covering it. It is July 1st. And hold on, let me make sure we got us the right way, get it together. Boom, 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 boom. All right, whatever. Let me just put this up. It's July 1st. This is the day that Diddy is seeing his son. All right. So on the day that Diddy gets to see his son, magically these photos pop up of Halle Berry with this new dude. Just magically, right? Magically, they got this amazing angle while she's taking pictures, kissing, booed up, outfit changes. This amazing angle. Hey, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's amazing. They staying in the same position. Like, this is great PR, right? This is great PR, man. Listen, you're telling half truth, calm down. Listen, Stacey, be accountable, don't speed through. What you referring to, homie? But yeah. So Halle Berry popped out with a new dude, which she should be able to do. It's no big deal about that. But I can understand. It's definitely PR. They're trying to go ahead and I don't know what's the purpose of this. You know, she should be able to be who she wants to. But I think it's like everyone's posturing for just the looks on social media. Where he's been popping out with the India Love girl. I know she also, while he's seeing his son, I think the girl took the trip with him. I know a lot of people, several people that he normally does content with, that he's up there with in Italy with right now. I think the JayZ dude, the actual girl that Halle Berry was accusing him of cheating with, Lala Baptiste, she's there with JayZ, and they're double dating with India Love, which is very, very interesting. So Halle was accusing Diddy of cheating with this other girl, but he's there with Diddy's homeboy.
Like you finna go, so you gonna go taper fade. So you act like you ain't tell me you ain't been brushing your teeth ever since you got veneers. Oh my God!
He definitely brushed his teeth today.
Today, cause you was here.
So that's the girl that Halle was like, you put your penis in her in Mexico. That's the chick and she hanging out with him, you know? So I don't, and they said they just friends, doing things for content. So I think I believe that, you know, although sometimes niggas do pass girls around. But yeah, I would think he would tell him if he smashed her or not, so he won't be looking out here looking weird, looking silly.
When we stayed at the Airbnb, he be saying that shit. I had to get on his ass. I'm like, bro, you can't be doing that shit, bro. So your tongue yellow.
That is true. I remember you said that was
Whoa! No, real shit. No, but I told
yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. I really don't care, but yeah, so he got the girl up there in Italy too, and you know it's a time difference. And, you know, she's trying to show that she's moved on. The dude that she's actually with, they done found all this shit out. He actually works a lot with Kendrick Lamar. He has done some production for Kendrick Lamar. His name is Scott something. They have his name somewhere. But, yeah, the dude that she's with, he works in the music industry. Has done some things with Kendrick and shit like that. So, hey, man, that's what's going on in that situation. I'm about to have to go hit this gym in a few. I told y'all last night we were discussing a nigga getting on point with the fitness journey. So I gotta hit the gym today, get myself together, and then I'll see if I come back. Let's do some more content later. But I just wanted to get through these topics real quick, give y'all an update as far as the things that's happened early in the day. Is there anything that I didn't go over? I seen Charleston White going off on Cam Newton. What the fuck is this? I didn't watch this, but let me see what the hell this is. It says Charleston White fires back at Cam Newton after Cam criticized his boxing match with the Island Boys. We watched that on live stream. That was crazy.
On his leg is a born punk. First born punk it was. I know I don't agree with I was born a homosexual. Your daddy made a punk, nigga. You just could throw a football, big old punk. There's a lot of big old punks like you in prison. They take and give it.
Charleston White is a person that's always been very vocal in media. So much so that he mentioned me.
Oh, he did too, yeah.
And from what I seen, Charleston, you better shut up.
You better watch your mouth, Charleston.
Because if that's what you bring it to, I ain't no island boy.
Yeah.
But I'm a rude boy.
Big. Talking about what it is. I kill Cam Newton. I swear to God, I will you, Cam Newton. I will you. I tote weapons everywhere I go. Big old nigga. Nigga, I kill.
Didn't they do an interview with each other? I thought, well, that interview did get a little testy. But they did have an interview with each other, right? Obviously.
That bottom line, I will you, Cam Newton. I will make your mama cry like the gang banging niggas do innocent people. Talking about big as you is, talking about what you would do to me. Nigga, you can't say that kind of shit. Take it as a threat. I bet you don't want to see me no more. I bet you don't want to see me in person. Whenever I see you, Cam Newton, I'm attacking you, big ass. I'm with some mace, a taser, or a gun. I'm not gonna let you beat me up like you done already threatened to document. I'm gonna you, mace you, tase you, or stab you. I am not fighting a big old jolly green giant with my bare hands, and I'm a small framed, elder, disabled, visually impaired, blind man.
Homie says Charleston White looked like he was about to pass out against the Island Boy. For real, bro. That fight was hilarious. I got me a good laugh that night, man.
Can't talk about fighting me. Nigga, my boxing is exhibition. Nobody gets hurt in the exhibition boxing. Nigga talking about hurting me or die, nigga. I asked that nigga hit me in the barbershop. Ask that bitch, that nigga who hit me in the barbershop, why I got them 2 aggravated assault. Both the niggas.
Now, oh, you're talking about the Diddy shit. DDG said asking that that's Dirt Girl. Nah, that's a different India. Dirt Girl is, I don't think I think she's deal with Dirt as far as industry niggas. India Love done dealt with so many different rappers for years.
With no hair on his leg is a born punk. First born punk it was. I know I don't agree.
All right, that's that right there, man. I don't even know if I want to play this shit because this lady cursed so damn much. But this is something else I woke up and seen, which was rightfully so. This lady going in on Krishan Rock, little silly ass, but she cursed too damn much. They gonna go ahead and flag my damn video, and I want to leave this up. So, hey man, let me go head out. I'm about to hit the gym and get things going. Then I might come back. It depends if some things happen, but I might come back and hop back on stream later tonight. I'll let y'all know. I'll try to send the notification bells out. You guys follow me on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, so I can give you guys updates for when I am going to stream. So y'all be on point for that. And also hit the like button on the way out and the notification bell so you see from that too. But I'm out, y'all. Appreciate y'all vibing as we catching up with this Diddy.